What is belief? Do you have belief? Do you have a sense of certainty in what it is you're doing, or what it is you're about to do, what you're embarking on? Do you have a belief in yourself, a belief that you're able to accomplish a particular goal or dream or ambition that you have? Belief is powerful. A sense of truth that you hold deep inside you, deep in your heart. It's something that can get tested. It's something that can get pushed back on. It's something that can get beaten on. It's something that will take and withstand if it's real. It's something that will take enormous pressure, may even show some signs of cracking, but will never break. Your faith may be tested. How do you come by belief? How do you come to belief? How do you actually believe? This is something I've pondered for a long time. I've thought about it. I've talked about it. I believe I've written about it. But it's absolutely something I've pondered. Because I've been asked, how do you believe? How does one acquire belief? And so, the way I used to answer that question is not the way I'll answer it today. The way I used to answer that question there are two ways I used to answer that question. One, act like you believe and you will believe. Act like you have confidence and you will eventually get confidence. Act like you have faith and you will eventually come upon faith. Then, after further contemplation, I would think about how there are those that have attained great heights in life. And when they get there, they say they can't believe they got there, that they never would have dreamed or believed that they could have gotten there, and yet they got there. And so then I would think to myself that, well, first you actually set out on the path, not knowing whether or not you'll achieve it. Somewhere along the way, in the striving and in pushing past the mistakes and in having small wins and small successes, ultimately you'll get to a place where it'll become real, and then you'll be forced to believe that it's happened. Today I answer that question differently. And I look at it in the context of my relationship with Yahuwah, Yahusha, the Most High, the Supreme Elohim, the Elohim, the Creator of all things, He who breathes life and brings all things into existence. He manifests in the flesh as the Son, as Hamashiach, as the Messiah. Yah, the Most High. Huah. Like a breath. Yah. Huah. Yah. Breathing in. Huah. He who breathes life. He who brings all things into existence. The Most High who breathes life into all things. Yahuwah. Yahusha. Yah, the Most High. Shah, who saves. Yah, who delivers. Yah, the Most High, who redeems. And so I view belief now through that lens. I view it through the lens of being a child of Yahuwah Yahusha, a follower of the way, having seen and come to know the way, the truth, and the life. And so the way I'll describe it now is that there's an instance where Yahusha is coming back from Bethania, where he was staying. So he had gone to Jerusalem, where he had turned over the tables of those selling doves and turned over the tables of the money changers and cast out all of these people that had turned the house of our father into a den of thieves. He had thrown them out of what was meant to be a set-apart place so that we could commune with Yahuwah, Yahusha. And after that, after healing people there, and after doing all sorts of wonders and miracles there, he leaves. He goes to Bethania to stay for the night, and then he comes back on the next day to Jerusalem. And on his way back, he sees a fig tree. He's walking with his Talmudim, his taught ones, and he sees a fig tree. He's hungry, goes to the fig tree to get a fig, but there's nothing on it. And looking at that fig tree, he says, you shall never grow fruit again. He went to go for the fruit. Fruit wasn't there. You no good, blasted, barren fig tree. You shall never grow fruit again. And immediately the fig tree withers. And the Talmudim, his taught ones, his disciples, see this and they say, Adonai, how did the tree wither so fast? And he says, truly I say to you, that if you believe without doubt, then you can not only do what was done to this fig tree, you could say to this mountain, be moved from here to there, and it shall be cast into the sea. And then he says, whatever you ask for in prayer, with belief you shall receive. Whatever you ask for in prayer, with belief you shall receive. So how do you believe? How do you ask in prayer with belief such that you receive? Okay, first it begins with believing in Yahuwah Yahusha. So that's where it starts. And for those who do not believe and want to understand how to believe and how to get to this place that Yahusha speaks of, where when you believe without doubt, you could say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move from here to there. Be cast into the sea, and the mountain will be cast into the sea. Ask with prayer in all belief, and you shall receive. How do you get to that place if you don't believe? Well, it starts with this. It starts with wanting to believe. That's the first thing. It starts with believing in Yahuwah Yahusha. It starts with wanting to believe in Yahuwah Yahusha. If you've ever seen the TV series X-Files, Agent Mulder had a poster on his wall. And on that poster was a spaceship. It was a crummy photo of a spaceship. And the poster said, I want to believe. I want to believe. It begins there. It begins with wanting to believe. Do you want to believe in the Most High? That's where it begins. And the next, it moves from there. And for some people, that's enough. Okay, for some people, you want to believe, you will believe. But for others who are more skeptical, wanting isn't enough. You have to need to believe. You have to have a need. Now, everyone needs Yahuwah Yahusha in their life. Everyone needs salvation and redemption, whether they admit it or not. Everyone needs his love and his healing and his joy and his peace and his everlasting life. But you have to come to a place where in your heart you know you need it. So you have to go from wanting it to needing it. And then for others, those who have a hardened heart, who have been navigating this illusion and buying into it for decades, for their entire life, such that they're bought in lock, stock, and two smoking barrels. They are all about the ways of the flesh, decadent, defiled, depraved, full of a life of cheap thrills, cheap highs, cheap titillation. They believe this hallucination is all there is, that this mirage is all there is. And their heart has been hardened by it. Their heart is cynical. Their heart is poisoned by the evil whisperers of this world that would have you believe that this is all there is. And that you must live for today and live today as if it's your last day. And that you must live a life of the flesh. And that you must live your truth, not his truth, but your truth. And you must gratify yourself. And so you're lost and you wonder why you're not satisfied, why you're not happy, why you're not fulfilled, why you're not grateful. It's because you're living a life of the flesh of which there is no gratification or satisfaction or thankfulness in. Living this life of this illusion, life of the flesh, full of defilement and debasement, decadence and depravity, cheap hills, cheap highs, cheap titillation to distract you from your failures and to revel and celebrate in the winds that evaporate from you the moment you win them. Get to the top of one mountain, you're at the bottom of another. Get one question answered, there's another question right behind it. Open one door, another door locked behind it. It never ends. You always want more. It's never enough. Cannibalizing, clawing, scratching for more. Gluttonous. Pleasure-seeking, hedonistic. And so for those, you have to get to a place where Yahusha is a must-have. So you're going to go from a want to a need to a must-have. You must have Yahusha in your life. And when you're at that place, then what you do is ask. You ask for Yahusha to enter your life. You ask him for belief. You ask him to save you. And he will fill you with love. He will wash over your soul like a tidal wave and fill you with the breath, the Ruach, the set-apart spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. And he will baptize your heart with that set-apart spirit and fire such that your soul, heart, your spirit, your life is purified of all evil, all sin. You are refreshed, revised, renewed, reconstructed, and reborn once again in his image. And so now you see the path. You not only have his light shining down on you, warming you, healing you, loving you. You not only have the breath of Yahuwah filled with light inside you, bursting forth from you, healing you, and also giving you a level of dynamism, robustness, such that all those around you see it. They see it. They see you beaming. They see you redeemed. They see you vibrant with his energy, and you then act as a beacon for those other lost souls, acting like a lighthouse on a foggy night for those who are seeking safe harbor, such that they see that if you can be saved, then they surely can. And so you live your life as example for your people, and you now see not only that light that's shining down on you, the light that lives within you that acts like a beacon for others, but also the light shines down on the narrow path that you now walk on, and that the Ruach HaKodesh compels you to walk and keeps you on the straight and narrow, that straight and narrow path that leads to the narrow gates that leads to his kingdom. The reign of Yahuwah, the reign of the heavens, the kingdom to come. Leads to those narrow gates, to that kingdom to come. And so, now you believe. Next comes the prayer. Next comes praying. Praying. If you're praying, and now you believe in Yahuwah, you understand that all things are possible through the Most High. Nothing is out of his reach. He is capable of all things. He is omniscient, omnipresent. He is the creator of everything. His will is done. The moment it is done, his will be done within you. And that's one of the things I pray for, is I pray that he dissolves my will and that his will be done within me, and that he dissolves my will such that I become an instrument of his will. And so in prayer, when you're asking for something, you can be sure that you'll receive when you ask in belief. And the way to ask in true belief, now that you believe in Yahuwah, Yahusha, and you understand that he is capable of all things, that nothing is out of his reach, that nothing is impossible for him, that he is the creator of all reality, such that he makes reality and bends it according to his will. In fact, reality is his will, not this illusion, but what lies behind it, the zeros and ones, the real. And it manifests here in this illusion, if he so chooses. And so you can ask him. But in order for you to receive the ask has to be something you can believe in, which means that the ask has to be true. The ask has to be honest. The ask has to be credible. The ask has to come from a place of love. It has to come from the heart. So the ask has to align with the singular commandment he gives us, with the word. And what is that? To love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your fellow man as you love yourself. If what you are asking comes from that place, then you're asking with sincerity, and then you're asking for something that should be received, that can be received, and that shall be received. That can be received. He's not going to grant anything that comes out of jealousy or envy. He's not going to grant anything that comes out of hatred. He's not going to... If that's what you're praying for, something that's coming from that place, something else is going to answer that ask. So that's something you don't want in your life. You don't want the demons of this world. You don't want Hashatan, Lucifer, Satan, the evil ones of this world. You don't want them in your life. So don't ask for the things that give energy to those decadent and depraved beings. Don't feed their evil whispers by going down that path. If you're asking for something, it can't come from a place, it has to come from a place of love and healing and his joy, his peace, his everlasting life. As I said, if your ask is coming from a place of that singular commandment to love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, love your fellow man as you love yourself, then you shall receive it. Because the belief is now intrinsic. What you're asking for is woven into your DNA, is woven into his relationship with you, is woven into the signal that you receive in asking for him to come into your life, in praying to him, in being grateful for him, and in surrendering to him. Because here's the other key. You surrender. You submit yourself completely. You surrender to him completely because you've tried it your way. If your way worked, you wouldn't be praying to him. Your way doesn't work. You trying to manipulate this reality. You trying to cajole this reality, false reality. You trying to bend this illusion to your will. It doesn't work. And even when it does, it leaves you empty and soulless and bereft and frustrated and anxious. And wondering, isn't there more? Isn't there any meaning? Isn't there any purpose to any of this? As I said, get to the top of one mountain, you're at the bottom of another. So, like Sisyphus, endlessly pushing the boulder up the hill, doomed to have it come back down again, and just over and over, the endless hamster wheel, the rat race, the endless treadmill. When you walk the way, the truth, and the life, you step away from that. You now live set apart from that. You live in the real. We are in this world, but we're no longer of this world. But you've tried it your way. And so the other key here is that you surrender completely to Yahuwah Yahusha. And you ask him to guide you and to direct you and to show you how to live your life in a manner that pleases him most. So that when you're asking from that place. And so it all becomes part of the real. It's all woven into the fabric of the zeros and the ones behind this illusion. It is all things, it is all being, it is manifest, it is there, it is happening, it is. It just is. When you're asking from that place, it is. And so after you pray and ask in all belief, you ask that one time, and then after that, and here's the thing, I'm just telling you what I do, right? So this is what I do. And this is how my relationship with Yahuwah, Yahusha, works. After I ask, and coming from that place, I'm coming from that place where my ask is coming from a place of truth and sincerity, and from a loving heart, and from a place where I love Yahuwah, Yahusha. That prayer, that ask lives within loving Yahuwah with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength, and loving my fellow man as I love myself. It serves that purpose. So then the ask is received. And so every time after that, as I continue to pray on this, I no longer pray as an ask. I pray how grateful I am that I have received it. Every time after that, I no longer ask again. I now pray on how thankful I am that He has granted me what I have asked. And here's the thing. What you're asking for, He will manifest it. He will make it real. He will weave that into your life, perhaps in a way that you don't immediately recognize. So it's not like you ask for something and boom, it's right there in front of your eyes. It doesn't work like that. He makes it real in your life in His way, not necessarily in the way you thought, but in His way. And His way is the right way. It is the good way. It is the loving way. It is the healing way. But He makes it real. He makes it happen. It manifests. And it is more than you ever expected. You receive more than you ever expected. You receive it in a way that you may not have expected. And you know His way, His truth in His life, and you are eternally grateful for it. And He has delivered for me over and 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 over again. Praise be to Yahuwah Yahusha. This is how you believe. This is how you ask. This is how you come upon faith. It's a want, it's a need, it's a must-have. It's an ask that aligns with the singular commandment of love Yahuwah, the commandment from which all other commandments spring and from which all good and wholesome things come from. To love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, love your fellow man as you love yourself, and then going forward you are grateful for it. You are thankful for it. And it becomes real in the way that He wills it to become real. Believe. Believe.